Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Dell XPS 179720. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to be using a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, you want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down on my desk in the pattern, I remove them just like that. Okay, so we got one on either side here, one on either side here, and then 4 down here. So we're just going to put them in that shape. All right, if this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. I also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. If you want to watch random review videos, then it'd help a lot if you could subscribe to that channel as well. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers on there, and it's slowly making its way, but it's going to take a long time. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and get the last few screws out and then pop this thing open. For some reason, this computer, it's just getting stuck at the Dell logo. Won't even go to BIOS or anything. My hope is that it's a faulty SSD, because if that's the case, after removing the SSD, we will be able to get it into BIOS. Let's go ahead and find out. Okay, we got all the screws out. Now we got to get the bottom cover off. So this might be a little tricky. Let's see how we can do this. Usually what I do is I get my fingernails in the gap between the palm rest and the touchpad, but let's see, this is going to be kind of tricky. You might have to use a smaller thin pry tool to do this. I did get a little bit, I did get a little bit into this gap here, so let's see if we can pop it out. Okay, we're going to work our way down. I'm pushing with my thumbs on the bottom cover, and let's see, there we go. I feel some clips releasing, and we're just going to continue working our way over. All right, once you get to the light, you're going to have to jump over that. Okay, so let's see here. Continue working our way over. All right, I don't know if you can see that gap that formed there. All right, but now where the light is, it's kind of stuck there, so we're gonna kind of have to push a little harder with our thumb. There we go. Obviously, you can use pry tools to do this, but I find using my fingernails and thumbs works better. Okay, we're gonna work our way over now to the side here. Okay, since we got all of that popped up, going around the little corners usually can be a little bit tricky as well. So yeah, just take your time. Again, you can use pry tools, but to me, I find those are a little bit trickier. But there we go. It seems like it's popping up, and we're gonna continue working our way across. You can see, you can hear it popping open. Okay, so here you can see the gap open quite a bit now. We're gonna go to the other side. Same thing. Okay, work our way over the corner, get around the edge here, and then continue popping this up. Okay, all right, just like that. Okay, so now we got the sides and the front open, you can see. Okay, the back, let's see if we're gonna be able to pop it the same way. Work our way around. Okay, and that's gonna be very tough. Let's see here. So now that we got that, let's see if we can kind of wiggle this. Sometimes we can kind of push it a little and then pull it, but this doesn't seem to want to come up at all. Okay. So I guess we got to kind of continue working around the sides here. Sorry. Work our way around. Wow, okay, you're gonna need some very tough nails. You can see it's like chewing into my nail just to try and pop this open. Let's go ahead and go from this side a bit. Okay, wow, this cover's really difficult to pop open. Okay, I think we got this corner. So I think we have to go from this side actually, because this side, I think the headphone jack is sticking out into the case. So now that we got that, we're gonna kind of wiggle this. Okay, come on, wiggle. I can see that this portion is coming up. You can see it's disconnecting from the bottom down there. Okay, so Now we're gonna kind of try and wiggle this, hold this side down, wiggle it, and there we go. It's releasing. Oh, still not quite. Come on. Okay, and there we go. And actually, okay, it does come separate. It's not attached to it. So there we go. We got the whole bottom cover off. Let's go ahead and see about disconnecting the SSD. There's 2 slots. I think there's only one SSD. I only see one on this side. I don't think this side has an SSD. And the battery, how does this even, I'm trying to find the battery connector. I don't even see it. Oh, okay. I believe this is the battery connector here. Let's get a thumbnail real quick first. So I'm going to line this up. Okay, there we go. And the battery model number, if you're wondering, is right here. XG4K6. But you do want to remove the bottom cover. Make sure you can do that before you buy the battery, because otherwise, if you can't get that off, there's no point. All right. Anyways, we got this strap here, so let's go ahead and pop the battery connector out. So you got this brown strap. It kind of has a little loop. You can get your finger in there if you want, and then we're just gonna we're gonna roll it up this way. Okay, so I'm grabbing here and I'm pulling from that angle and pulling it back, and there we go. That's disconnected. Pretty sure that's the battery. Let's go ahead and see if we can pop the battery out. Okay. The guy said he sent it, I don't know where, probably Dell or Geek Squad, and then they couldn't figure out what was going on. They said most likely some hardware issue, but they're not sure. So let's go ahead and see what we can find. We're going to take all the hard drive screws out. All right, again, keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. Okay. Looks like 2 screws up here, and then 5 screws at the bottom. Okay. Again, keep them all in order. 2, 3, 4. The last one, 5. Okay. Alright, now that we got all those out, let's see if we can lift the battery up. So there's a little gaps under here. You can probably get under this. Okay, and now we're going to carefully lift this up and out. And there we go. There's the battery removed. So this cable doesn't look removable from the battery. A lot of Dell laptops, the battery cable is removable, but in this case it looks like this is part of the battery. So yeah. We'll set that aside. Okay, here you can see all these connectors here. It looks like, let's see. So you got the LED connects to this board here, and then you got the touchpad, trackpad connecting to this board here. I can't see underneath here. Let's flip this latch up and get this cable out. I think that's it. I was trying to find the keyboard cable, but I don't see the, oh, okay. I see the keyboard and trackpad cables are underneath this piece. So let's go ahead and get to that. I'm gonna first drain the power from the motherboard. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this cable back in. All right, and latch that down. Okay, after disconnecting the battery, what we're gonna do, we're gonna open the laptop and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. All right, this is very important, especially if you're gonna be messing with the LCD LVDS connector. I'm not gonna be taking that stuff out, but it's always a good idea to do this just in case. If you're just changing the RAM and the SSD, you don't really have to worry about this, as long as you're careful and you don't drop stuff onto the motherboard, okay? There are 2 slots for RAM. Let's actually take a look here while we can. All right, there's one obviously here and one under here. So the RAM, the way you remove it, you pull the 2 tabs to the side, you can see this pops up, and then you can pull this out. And this is DDR5 RAM, 16 gigs, 4800B, all right? So any PC5 4800B or DDR5 4800B RAM should be fine. There's a 16 gig stick. I don't know if they have 32 gig sticks, but if they do, you should be able to upgrade to 232 gig sticks. And yeah. All right, so we'll just get all of that. Might as well pop this out and then just reseat it just to make sure everything is in properly. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the SSDs. We'll zoom out a little bit just because I have screws in the way. Let's see. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and remove the SSD here. There's one screw. Okay, and then this, let's see, how does this, there's this whatever plasticky stuff. I'm not sure how it's holding on, but this side lifts up, and then we should be able to slide the whole thing back. Okay, so I'm pretty sure a thermal pad is what's holding this onto the onto this thing. So yep, there we go. So peel that back, and you can see the thermal pad actually only touches a very small portion of the SSD. And you can see because this portion is raised and then this portion is lower, so it's actually only touching that portion of the SSD. Anyways, we're gonna set this aside. That's an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. Okay. Again, there are 2 slots, so there's another slot on the other side over here. Let's go ahead and pop that one out as well. I don't think there's an SSD under here, but let's see. Okay. Yeah, no SSD under there. They do have the thermal pad, and it looks like someone took this out before because there's fingerprints all over it. Okay, we'll set that aside. You can see this is the slot for the second SSD. All right, and we're just gonna quickly look at some components that we see on the surface. We're not gonna take the whole motherboard out, but let's go ahead and take a look here. You got the speaker connector here. Cable going down. That's only one speaker, it seems. Actually, you see that black and white wire? It's going underneath. I'm not sure where that's going to. Oh, it's both. They're both going to this speaker. Okay, so it looks like each speaker has 4 wires going into it. So that's for this speaker. And then this speaker has its own cable here. We're not going to be taking those out. There's a little ribbon cable here. I'm not too sure where that's going. It's underneath the fan. Let's see if these fans come out with just removing the 2 screws. I kind of doubt it. There's probably stuff going on under here. Actually, there's 3 screws. But I kind of just want to see if the fan is removable easily or not. I think I have to use a PH, yeah. You have to switch to a PH0 or JS0 screwdriver to remove the screw here. All right, let's see. Is it attached? Yeah, it's attached to the whole heatsink. So we're not going to remove that, and the cabling seems to be underneath somewhere. If you really wanted to disassemble this, you'd probably have to undo the heatsink here. But yeah, I usually try not to undo those because then all the thermal paste will have to be cleaned off and redone. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have here? The wireless card, it is soldered to the motherboard here. Okay, but the antennas are here and here, the black and white. If you remove this metal bracket, you can pop the tails of the antennas up and disconnect it. But we're not going to be messing with that. All right, you can see it's there. There's a slot here, but there's nothing connected to it. And then you got one connector here. Okay, this looks like a fan connector. And, is that a fan connector? I don't know. But there's one connector there. If that's the fan connector for that, I don't know where the fan connector for this is. This one says FP1, so that's actually for the fingerprint reader. The SD card board and the audio jack do seem to be a separate board. Looks like there's a screw underneath this foam. And then there's one screw here, here. I don't know if there's another one up here. No, that's the headphone jack. So there's 3 screws holding this board, and you can likely pop it off. What else? I don't really see too much else to look at on here. The LCD LVDS connector is here, 2 screws, then you can disassemble all this stuff. It's most likely just sitting on there with like these spring contacts kind of thing. But yeah, I don't really see too much else here to look at. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna leave the SSD out. I hope those spring-loaded contacts aren't needed for anything here. I think it's just to ground it. You see this? There's this copper pad here, and that touches these. So I don't know what's the point of that. There's nothing there. Maybe it's just to tell it that the case has been opened. I don't know. I hope it's not used for any other circuitry. I would doubt it because it would be strange if they do that and then like basically once you take the cover off, now nothing is really holding it. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 5, right? Okay. I'm gonna put a few screws here to hold the battery into place. We'll put that one, and then we'll put one down here, just so the battery doesn't fall out. We're gonna leave the battery in. In most cases, these new Dell laptops, the battery acts as the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, we're gonna line this up, and then we gotta push this back down. All right, battery is reconnected. Let's flip this over, power it up, and see if anything changed. I'm going to be pressing the F2 and delete keys to basically try and get to the BIOS. I did see the power light on the front flash for a second, but it turned off. Okay, the keyboard light's on, the caps lock light is on here, so most likely the BIOS is just being reset, so it's going to take a while to start up. That's usually the case. There we go. Oops, sorry, there's the Dell logo. Pressing the F2 and delete keys. And as you can see, nothing is happening. The caps lock light is permanently on. I don't know if you can even see that light, but caps lock light is permanently on, and nothing is happening here. It's permanently stuck on the Dell logo. So, sadly, there's a very good chance the motherboard is fried. Maybe it's a BIOS chip is screwed up, but I don't see anything else in here that I can mess with. Everything else seems to be part of the main board. So the customer told me that the Dell screen just stays there forever. You got the one wireless antenna here, and then the other one obviously on this side. But yeah, oh, here's the other fan connector. I don't know, I didn't see that earlier, but there's the other fan connector. So if you need to take the fans out, there's that. But yeah, we took the SSD out, and it's still just stuck on this, and the caps lock light is stuck on, so most likely that's a fried motherboard. If they're lucky, it's a BIOS chip, but this laptop, I think they said is like less than 2 years old, so the chance to be able to get a replacement BIOS chip or even a motherboard outside of Dell is very, very slim. So I kind of doubt we're going to be able to get that unless somebody just spilled liquid on theirs and they're trying to get rid of it. So sadly, we're probably just going to reassemble this thing, and it's going to be considered dead because we did already reset the BIOS just by doing that, and I'm not sure what else can be done. All right, I force shut it off. The caps lock light turned itself on. I don't know what's going on there. The caps lock light is on for some reason. What if I push the power button? Nothing's happening. Oh, there you go. Yeah, something is really weird with this. Like if I hold the power button, the caps lock light, like the screen will shut off, but the caps lock light, okay, it turned off, and now it turned itself back on once I let go. That's very strange. I've never seen that before. Let's hold the power button some more. Yeah, the caps lock light is just like permanently on. That's weird. So if I hold the button till it shuts off, and then let go, the caps lock went off and then back on. Like the computer's not on, but the caps lock light's on. That's really weird. Actually, maybe it's still on. You see this light? This light's actually on as well. Yeah, it keeps turning itself back on. So you can't even really shut it off. Huh. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So I'm not too sure what would cause this. The customer didn't say they did anything weird with it. They said they were just using it, and then one day it just decided to do this. So let's disconnect this just to be safe. Okay. Disconnect the battery connector again. Make sure it's off. Yes, it is. Okay, and we're just gonna reassemble this. I'm gonna have to let the customer know what I found, that it definitely seems like a motherboard issue, and then they'll have to decide what they want to do. Most likely their best bet, because it's so new, is to send this back to Dell. I'm not sure what Dell will do though. It's probably going to be crazy expensive. Oreo, shh. Okay, it's most likely going to be crazy expensive. Anyways, let's go ahead and take the battery back out. It looks like you do actually have to take the battery out to be able to change the SSDs, so keep that in mind, because these metal things are on top of it. So let's lift the battery out. Okay, and then this just goes on top. Alright, like that. We'll tighten this down. Here we go. Do the same thing, get the other one. Drop that into place. Okay, tighten this down. Other than it being really difficult to get the bottom cover off, replacing the SSDs and the RAM is really easy to do. So if you wanted to upgrade or replace those, then yeah, it's not really a big issue. Okay, we'll push that connector back in, and then we're gonna go ahead and just get all these screws back on. And that's pretty much all there is to this device. Yeah, if you wanted to replace this, it's gonna be very difficult. If you need to remove the heat sinks, one trick is, instead of, you don't want to just pull it straight up, you actually want to like rotate the thing, because that will loosen up the thermal paste. Okay, so if for some reason you're trying to redo the thermal paste or something, then that's the trick. Okay, I'm not really sure what else to do with this thing, because it's a motherboard issue and I can't really do anything with the motherboard or the logic board. Everything now is kind of soldered down on there in tiny little pieces. They're super tiny. Yeah, and I'm not able to diagnose those, so let's go ahead, just reassemble this thing, put it back together, and that's pretty much it for this one. Alright, we're going to switch back over to the T5, Torx 5. Let's zoom out a tiny bit here. Oops, just a tiny bit. There we go. Alright, and let's get the bottom cover on. Okay, bottom cover obviously just goes back on the same way that we took it out. So you can kind of slide this one corner on. Okay, and then kind of just push everything back in. The middle has like some clips there, and then just push everything down. Alright, and then we just get all the screws back on, and that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their device as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, if you can't help out that way, again, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, I do have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. If you could subscribe to that one, that'd be really helpful. And yeah, let's go ahead and continue getting all these screws back in, but that's pretty much it. Alright, we'll try turning it on one last time after we get all this reassembled. Maybe something weird would have happened with that cover. Okay, I kind of doubt it, but I mean, might as well. Alright. Last two screws. Okay. There we go. And then let's just flip this thing over and see if any change. Alright. Is it going to just turn itself back on again? Okay, so right now the caps lock light isn't on. Once we push the power button, let's see, nothing. If we press and hold it, okay, now it's turning on, and the caps lock light is on again. So most likely it's just going to do the same exact thing. Nothing different. Let's try holding the function key in F2. And we just have the Dell logo again. Yeah, I don't think anything's gonna change. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.